Hello, in this short lecture today, we are going to talk about the second artifact for your disciplinary and professional literacy project. This second artifact is positionalities and privileges. So just click your arrow so you can see you've got your hamburger menu here. Click it and open your table of contents. I'm going to come down to positionalities and privileges, which as we can see is Artifact 2. This may seem a little awkward, a little why are we doing this, but in any situation, in any community, we are bringing our whole selves. We're bringing our personal self, we're bringing our social self, we're bringing our work self, we're bringing all of us to this particular moment or experience. And who we are can have an effect in particular places. Sorry about that. It was Annie, our lovely TA, who was in the room with me and obviously needed to go check on something very quickly. So she's off now. Barking dog is gone. Back to positionalities and privileges. Who we are does have an effect in all of the various spaces that we occupy and where we create meaning for ourselves. So in the second artifact, you're going to think a little bit about who you are. You're going to do a little self-discovery and share some of the moments or the things that you thought about as you did this. The personal and social identity wheels are linked in this written overview. They are linked in the checklist, and then they're also linked in D2L. So if I just click on them here and click on the title, Identity Wheels, it will open this Google slideshow. Again, you would need to make a copy of this in order to actually fill it in, but you can write it down on a piece of paper because you're not actually going to turn in the wheel. You're just going to turn in your reflections on it. So why are we asking personal selves? Do things matter? Do some of these things actually maybe affect us? Yes, they do, right? Maybe it was a favorite book that introduced you to a particular occupation or something that you like, you know what, this is something I want to know more about. Maybe, and then you learn this is what I actually want to do. Sometimes being, the youngest sibling, I have 4 children of my own, and I know my third son has, and Annie wants back in the room. My third son has some kind of career professional interest. He's going into high school this year. And because he knows his older brother has done some of these things, he kind of has some ideas and some connections that maybe my oldest son didn't have. So yes, your personal self does matter. The other thing that this does is sometimes when we share some of those things or think about some of those things that aren't maybe as controversial or difficult to think about, it makes it easier when we get into that stuff that is just a little bit more, oh, okay, maybe I didn't want to think about that, but to push ourselves a little bit. So the second chart here is that social identity wheel, and some of these things can be a little bit harder. They're not always things that we want to acknowledge or discuss, or maybe even share with others. I do want to acknowledge that both of these do come from that school a little bit further south in Michigan, who we won't discuss or mention here, but they did come up with these projects. So after you take some notes about your personal and your social identities, we can go back to that written checklist. You have some questions, some things that you want to write about. For Artifact 2, your responses to these questions is the artifact. So this time you don't need to put those charts in there. I know some of those things are private and you may not want to share them with me, and I'm not asking you to. I want you to think about them. I want you to reflect about it, and it's these reflections, these questions that you're going to write about. So in your complete document, I'm going to copy these and just paste them here for a moment. I'm going to use that Control V. and I would write my analysis out in sentences to respond to these questions. If you want to put the question and then respond below it, that works. If you want to do it in paragraphs, that's okay too. The idea is that these questions directly from the written overview are what go into your document. The responses, not the chart. Please make sure to contact me if you have any questions about this one.